Alright y'all, welcome back to Retro Rewire. My name is JJ and we're going to be doing another pickups video now. The pickups that I'm going to be showing here are ones that I got while I was in the US on vacation, and I just wanted to share some of this stuff because I ended up trading part of my collection that I had in the US, and most of that stuff was doubles or stuff that I knew that I really wasn't going to be playing anymore and there was no point in just kind of having it stored away. But anyhow, let's get this underway, and I'm going to start with the Xbox One games. Now all these games I ended up getting off of Amazon Japan, and we're going to start with Greek, Memories of Azure. Now I played the demo on this for the Nintendo Switch and I was pretty impressed with the gameplay, and yeah, I intended to get it for the Nintendo Switch, but that version was about 30-40 bucks at the time, and this version was only going for like 11 or 12 bucks. So I thought it was a steal and I definitely picked it up, and I'm looking forward to giving it a go. Now I'm still gonna leave it sealed because when the time comes for me to play it, it's probably when I'll end up opening it. Now the next game, this was another Xbox One title, and it was one that I was more curious about, but again, it was on sale during the holiday season. I think it was like 12 bucks, and it is one that I actually own and played and beat on the Nintendo Switch, but it's none other than Bloodstained, Ritual of the Night. And the reason why I got this for the Xbox One is just because it's Xbox One X enhanced, and I just wanted to see some of those 4K visuals, because when you look at the comparison videos on YouTube online, there is a stark difference, and I just kind of want to, it's just more of a curiosity than anything. But I'm definitely going to give that a go. I probably won't play it to completion, but I just want to kind of just see some of those visuals, you know. And the game that I'm currently playing now on the Xbox One X is Resident Evil 3. Now, this was also on sale. I think it was like 15 bucks or whatnot, but I'm actually having a really good time with this one. Now, I'm not the biggest fan of Resident Evil 3 like on the PlayStation 1 or the Dreamcast, you know, whatever, what have you. But this one, I gotta say, is actually pretty good, and yeah, I'm having a blast with it. Now, I think people complain or have complained that it's far short, but since I didn't pay that full retail price, a fraction of that, you know, I'm kind of digging the length and the pacing of the game so far. But I'm close to the end, I feel, so definitely gonna finish it off. And yeah, definitely, I think it was a good purchase, you know, for the price that I got it for. But anyhow, let's go ahead and take a look at the 32-bit games I got. They're pretty much all PlayStation 1 games, and that's pretty much what I spent the majority of my store credit on. In fact, it was 100% spent on that. Now, because I have a Japanese console, these games won't run without any modification or, you know, extra peripherals to get it running. So I ended up bringing back my PS1. It is working. It is the American unit, so it'll play a lot of these games. Anyhow, let's get this underway. Now, the first one was a little bit of a nostalgic buy for me, which it's a game that I had originally on the Sega Saturn, and I think it was like my first or my second purchase on the platform, but it's gonna be Gex. Now this time this is for the PS1, obviously. You know, it has the funny one-liners by the comedian Dana Gold. And I don't know, this was a fun game back in the day. A fun action platforming game. And I remember that it was a bit frustrating at times, but overall it was fun to play back then. And it was more of a nostalgic thing for me. And I probably won't be investing too much time replaying it and whatnot, but I did play it, and you know, playing through the first few levels, and yeah, just kind of reliving the old memories, so to speak. But anyhow, let's go ahead and move on to a few more guilty pleasures. Here we go. This is Hellboy, Asylum Seeker. Now this was released in 2003, and from my understanding, it's not very good, but I am a fan of the Hellboy movies and the character itself. So that's why I kind of wanted to give this one a try. Now I did play through like the first section, and it is pretty slow, and it doesn't really excite the senses, so to speak, but I do, I don't know, I'm gonna give it its proper due, and I'll probably get around to it sometime and just play through it, probably binge play through it and see how the adventure goes. Now this other one is another superhero guilty pleasure, and it's a game that I got for Christmas like years and years ago when I ended up getting a PS1. I originally had a Saturn back then, but I did end up getting a PS1. But anyhow, it's Spawn the Eternal for the PlayStation 1. Now this game is seriously clunky. And for most people, you know, it would probably be like a junk game, but I don't know, there's something about it that I do like. It's probably just like the nostalgia goggles that are really heavy, really thick. But I don't know, I've been replaying it, and yeah, I'm just cruising along through it and, you know, just kind of reliving the old memories, and I'll probably will beat this game again just because, you know, I'm getting pretty deep into the story. But yeah, Spawn the Eternal. And then let's go ahead and keep the show moving here. Here's another guilty pleasure, man. It's Contra Legacy of War. Now this is the thicker case, which was supposed to include the 3D glasses, but you know, they weren't included, which is not really a big deal to me. I just want to play the game. And yeah, I beat this one way back in the day, and I'm looking forward to kind of giving it another playthrough. I would like to try Contra the Adventure, which is also a PlayStation 1 game. This one also got a Sega Saturn release, but I definitely want to get all the Contras, at least the ones that are more affordable, into the collection. But yeah, Contra Legacy of War, freaking game. And then here's one that I've been wanting to play recently, actually. I do have part 1, but this is Nightmare Creatures 2. Now this is a pretty visually impressive game on the PlayStation 1. This is also available on the Dreamcast, but I don't know, something about it. I think I wanted lower fidelity visuals, which is why I went with the PlayStation release. And yeah, I mean, part 1, I have the Japanese version, and that one is pretty much entirely in English. And you know, I beat the first one like way back in the day, back in its prime. And yeah, part 2 just kind of went under my radar, but looking forward to playing this one. And this one was like about 80 bucks, so definitely rising in value, but that old trading credit, you know, served me well. But anyhow, another one is a game that I actually covered early on on my channel here, and it's gonna be Rayman for the PlayStation 1. This is the greatest hits version, but don't really care because this is a classic game. I ended up trading my Japanese copy because I want to get one that's more complete, because I'm a nerd like that. I want that spine card. So until that happens, this one's gonna hold me over. But this one was actually pretty reasonable too. I think it was like 20 bucks. And I also have my Sega Saturn version, so I have both. Now this one I got many years ago, and I don't know, I guess I'm a big fan of Rayman, more so the first entry, but I do want to play part 2, and I'm hoping to secure a copy either for the PlayStation or for the Dreamcast. But anyhow, the next game is one that I'm a huge fan of, and that's gonna be Resident Evil. This was 129 bucks, definitely steep, but I definitely wanted to add this one to the collection just because it's the small case edition. Originally this was a long box release, and you know, I'm a freaking huge fan of Resident Evil, you know. I've been playing this game throughout my whole gaming life, more or less, and yeah, I'll probably replay this. I don't know. It only takes, if you're really good, you know, you can beat it in like 40 minutes and whatnot, especially if you have like the rocket launcher. But yeah, definitely looking forward to that. And I also ended up bringing back my Sega Saturn version of the game. Now this one I got way back in the day, and I certainly didn't pay today's prices, but gonna be adding these to the collection. Definitely want to hunt down a copy of the director's cut, which I have the Japanese version, but I want the North American version just for collection purposes. Another game is one which was kind of like a blind purchase for me. It's Grandia. Now I have played part 2 on the Dreamcast, and I really enjoyed that one. I beat it, and I don't know, I decided to give the first one a go because it seems to have like a good reputation. And with this game, you know, both part 1 and part 2 did get a re-release, and they are available on the Nintendo Switch, and there is a physical version of that, which I hope to get one day, at least the Korean version, because the Korean version is far less expensive and it has English language options. But I don't know, if this one is good enough, then maybe I'll just call it good with this. But I don't know, I did play the first like half hour, an hour, and you know, it seems to be your standard RPG, but I don't know. Didn't really do any combat yet, just because you're doing like the scavenger hunt in the beginning, but looking forward to that one, I guess. Now here's one. This was 200 bucks. It's Mega Man Legends 2. Now, definitely, I think from what I saw and you know what the rate for the game is going, it's definitely going for far less than that, but you know, sometimes with the store credit, they ended up like inflating the price because the prices of the games are a little bit higher. And I don't know, the only reason I got it was just because I had so much credit, and it's, well, that and because I played part 1 and I freaking love part 1. I just love the humor, and this one seems to pick up right where that one left off, you know, with the humor, the story and whatnot. And when you fire this bad boy up, you know, the initial introduction is freaking impressive, especially for a PlayStation 1 release. So I'm definitely looking forward to playing this one and finding the motherlode. And yeah, I'm just super happy to have this one in the collection. And then the final game that I have is one that pretty much took a large chunk of my stored credit, and that's none other than Valkyrie Profile on the PlayStation 1. I've been wanting to play this game for years. And at one point I actually owned the PlayStation portable version, but I don't know, I didn't really give it its due. And I think one thing that I didn't like about that version is that, you know, they made it widescreen, which is I guess fine, but they didn't leave any full screen options in that release because the widescreen kind of cuts off the image. And I don't know, I want the full experience, and sometimes 4:3 is the way to go. But looking forward to this one. I just love the intro and everything about it because it just seems like a mysterious game. And I don't know, looking forward to this one a lot. And I have started it, so I'm definitely gonna make my way through all the dungeons, and just another game that I've beaten for the collection. But anyhow, that's gonna be it for this episode. Thank you for checking it out. And my name is JJ, and I hope to see you all very, very soon. Ciao.